right, welcome everyone to our spring equinox fire ceremony, which has been brought indoors. And as soon as the sun goes down, it will blaze and be beautiful. We have our beloved Miss Tonya Melendez with us to assist and open us with a beautiful opening ceremony. Thank you, Mama. You are so amazing. And I'm so grateful to have you here. And our night might get extended because me and Tonya get excited about our conversations, about the energies and the energetic support that we have available, which is my thing. So let me introduce myself to Tonya's community and our extended Yeye's Patreon communities in here. Our Ile family is here. All my crew is here. So thank you everyone for being here live to celebrate the turn of the wheel. I'm Kelly Beard, and I have had karmictools.com for a very long time. I do what's called shamanic astrology, which connects earth and sky through us, through each of us as individuals. We are the bridge between earth and sky that Tonya just set us up so brilliantly for. But my main focus is cycles. So when we're talking tonight, we're going to be focused a lot on the solar cycle because that's what we're following, the sun's energy around the wheel. And spring is when we get to plant our seeds and start thinking about what we're bringing to life in this new year of 25. But we have some bigger cycles that are influencing our individual work here. So we're going to cover a lot of ground tonight. You will get the replay, and those of you who hit reply and sent your birth info, you'll get what I call personal activation. So what I talk about tonight is what's happening to everyone. It's available for everyone to direct the energy on your own behalf. Like Tonya said, we want to take in that which is for you and release the rest, circle back later, and you might pick up a different message every time you listen. But for us tonight, we're starting with the season. So my little Kelly way of breaking down the seasons is winter, spring, summer, fall is something we're all very conditioned to already. And it's associated with Aries, Libra, and Cancer, Capricorn, which is the active cardinal, lots of choices and decisions and things to do at the turn of the wheel that we're all familiar with. What I would like to get you familiar with is the month before the turn of the wheel and the month after. The month before brings processing through Gemini, Sag, and Virgo, Pisces. That is always the month before winter, spring, summer, fall. And right now we're coming out of Pisces emotional processing in our body and soul before we birth and transform and transcend this past level or this past year. And we make these, so we do a lot of processing the month before, processing and integration. Now, you can skip that, but then you're not going to make very good decisions. So it's better if you take some time prior to the turn of the wheel to process and check in with the last quarter of your life. And we just sort of check in quarterly. And all of this gives us an annual check-in so that all aspects of life get covered. So this is a simple way to do it. So we do our processing, which takes us to the seasonal shift where we make some choices and decisions. So either we're starting something new that needs to be anchored, or we are letting go of something that needs to be cleared and released. So the month after is always associated with Taurus, Scorpio, and Leo, Aquarius, which is where we either anchor permanently or release permanently. So the rhythm becomes process, choose, anchor, or release, depending on what you're doing. Process, choose, anchor, or release. So when you start getting into that rhythm, there's certain parts of you that don't get neglected anymore. So you feel on point with your decision making. You feel instinctive and intuitive and connected to your guides. You can hear yourself think. But if you don't do your processing, then you're not going to make good decisions. And if you don't make good decisions, then you're not going to anchor or release the right things. So we start to check in with this rhythm every year, annually. And at this time, it brings up all the new beginning energy. And how can you renew your vitality and renew your connection to spirit and renew your connection and passion for what you want to accomplish this year? And I know the social collective is crazy, but we control our little field, right? This is your body, mind, and spirit. You are in control of that. And so looking at what you want to initiate new this year, broadening your vision in different ways, recognizing that you're at a turning point or a crossroads. So a lot of times I do this little visual where we're going down the road and everything's fine, but we hit a dead end and we have to turn left or right. That means a choice has to be made. You cannot continue in the same direction. This is one of those choice points that happens all the time at winter, spring, summer, fall. So you can start to learn how to feel how it feels for you, which is another thing that I teach, is that you have your birthday. So say I'm a July 1st Cancer, and so I have the July to July annual rhythm, your birthday rhythm that you're familiar with. But whatever your rising is, which I have a Sag rising, so my chart starts December 2nd. And that's a different annual rhythm around the wheel to pay attention to, because now you're looking at aspects of your life as the sun moves through and energizes and activates and stimulates and awakens. That's what we're working with tonight. Where's the energy to do what we want to do, what our desires and passions and intentions are? How are we going to do that? And what's the foundation that we're setting up for it? Right? So if it's a new space, it's a new created baby or new ideas that you're bringing forward, then you want that foundation laid right now, because things will start popping by the May gate of power. Will be 6 weeks from now, and the next time we gather for fire, and hopefully we'll be outside that time. So looking at your new beginning, looking at where you can renew your vitality, doing some space clearing, cleansing, clearing out the old, making room for new energy. There are some people who are attached and don't like to let go. And then others of us that are born under, oh yeah, we change with the wind, right? We're ready to change now. I don't want to wait. I don't want nothing. No back talk. Let's get it done, which is also very Aries, Aries is ruling our little time right now as well. So we're going to talk a lot about the Pisces Aries cusp as we go. We're also looking at any resurrection, renewed life and vitality, because a big theme that's going on right now is we're developing a new vision for our individual identity and purpose that has evolved over the last 2 to 8 years in bigger ways. And so if you've been in a relationship, a job, a house, a community of any kind for 8 years or more, it's time to renegotiate. It's time to reset that based on your earned wisdom and evolved consciousness, is a Kellyism. So where can you resurrect life? Because when we talk about our identity and purpose, you may know what your identity and purpose is, but you're taking it to a new level now and thinking about what that new level might look like or what kind of foundation it might need to succeed. So we might be looking at ideas from 2 to 8 years ago that historically have not had any chi that might be being reborn now. You want to check in with your ideas because sometimes it's just a timing issue. Sometimes it's not a bad idea. You just have to get your right timing. So let's think about what needs to be renewed and reborn that way, and activating your fiery creativity, fertility, your blossoming energy. Let's expand, taking that serious step, like the first step towards your goal. But I am going to talk about that as well, and how we aren't going to have good, easy, fluid movement before May, June. I'm just saying. We have Mars coming out of its retrograde, which rules who we are and what we want on a fundamental level, but it's also our sacred masculine, which is how we negotiate on our own behalf, get our ideas in the world, and hold good boundaries. So we recalibrated that in Cancer Leo, which is self-love, self-care. How have we been actually taking care of ourselves? And how much of this social collective madness are we letting in to make us sick or imbalanced or uncomfortable, right? We want to take our power back by creating better boundaries and only letting things in that are going to inspire and uplift. And if you need to know what's going on in the social collective, make it a minimal part of your day where you check in, okay, the world hasn't collapsed completely yet. Let's keep it moving and get back onto you, because it's always like this, y'all. I'm old enough now to know that every decade has something to deal with that is some kind of giant crisis or, challenge as a social collective that we have to surpass or get through, some kind of persevere through, right? So we can't let that determine our identity and purpose and the things that we're really wanting to set forth or set in motion. The other thing I say all the time is, if nothing's in place, then anything is possible. And ain't nothing in place, y'all. It is upside down out there. So you can call it, you can define your terms, set your foundation, and manifest what you want. We can still do that. It's a little harder. And like I said, the general energies that we're going to go into tonight are speaking to this year being primarily around developing our vision for what we're going to take action on, or let's say bigger steps on come 2026. This year is a clearing out of the old and a setting up of the new, and the new rhythm is going to kick in big time come 2026. So when we look at the chart, we call that the Sky Council. This is where they're gathered up in the sky having a little meeting for our spring season. And it's ruled by Aquarius, which means Pluto and Pallas are right there, saying that we need to activate your unique contribution, your authentic self, and the creative energy or creative ideas that channel through you and how you bring that to the table. So it's also a lot to do with you, the individual, within the context of your community and the people that you learn with or work with or go to school with or do community with. And this, we love this expansion that's going on right now. Now, we have a huge Pisces party and a huge Aries party, but in the chart and the Cook system that I used has them almost every single one of them in the second house. So I might ask Tonya to speak on this a little too, is we have to recalibrate our individual values and priorities because the social collective does not reflect our values. I can tell you that now. So dialing that in for yourself and being clear about that, as I was saying, if Mars shifted our actions and choices, then Venus has just gone backwards on the Pisces Aries cusp to recalibrate our values and priorities, where these endings and new beginnings are concerned, but also where our personal boundaries and our personal identity and purpose are concerned. This is the reset going on with Venus. What's most important to you and how do you spend your energy of time, resources, money? How do you use your resources to do what you have to do? And how can we upgrade that or inspire that with some new energy and what have you? But now we've got all this Pisces Aries energy in that second house of values, self-worth, self-love, what I call your creature comforts and personal security issues. This is where we at. There is an ending and a new beginning going on there, where because the old values have run their course, we have to come up with new ones. And a lot of times, if you've been in a rhythm that's worked for you for so long, it can be uncomfortable when you start the new rhythm. So you need to give yourself a little latitude with that, where there is a little discomfort with new things. It's just getting used to new things, new people, new situations, or a new rhythm for your day to day, and honoring that little discomfort and pushing past it so that you can get to the good juju that comes out of getting the new rhythm, right? And so we have Sirius, how you nurture and like to be nurtured, is only in Pisces every 5 years. Saturn is only there every 30 years. North Node is only there every 20 years. And Neptune's only there every 165. So the really big one is a collective shift we're all feeling with Neptune. But now all in Pisces. So there's this essence of connecting with your spirit team and trusting and relying. Like Saturn makes it real. That means these offerings and these candles and glasses of water and meditation and everything that I do, there's a world altar. That's what I wanted to say too, y'all. I was thinking about it. It's so funny. We're doing a class with me and Yeye tomorrow on candles, colors, and conjuring. And I realized that I have my associated colors with my deities and whatnot, but I pick a candle every week to light. And right now, my husband and I are coming off colds, which we haven't had in over 10 years. So I know there's an ending going on there. And I wanted the blue healing and flow and creative flow and energetic flow. So I lit a blue candle, but you can pick your colors and your candles for whatever energy work that you're doing in the moment and pick those colors that support it. So this whole renewal of a relationship with our spirit team or a deepening of dedication to our spirit work is what's going to support your Aries actions as we go forward. So right now we're resetting. Pisces is also represented by the womb energy. So we're developing our creative babies. We're developing our ideas before we do go into Aries fiery action. So we know this combo. This is a combo we all feel. But Pisces is the lesson of sensitivity and good boundaries. So if you're being overwhelmed by the social collective, that's not good, because then you can't think straight and make choices for yourself. And your systems, looking at your physical systems is a big part of this as well. Virgo Pisces rules the feet. Virgo rules all our systems, especially the ones that filter out all the nonsense and the non-essentials. So looking at our filters, our personal filters, I used to tell the little story that when you clean the dryer filter and you pull out the lint, yeah, you've cleaned it, but over time, there's a waxy buildup. And so sometimes you need to run some hot water and some soap and really clean that filter. That's how our minds work. With all this crazy going on, we need to clean those filters. And when I say that, I mean asking pertinent questions in the moment. Is this relevant and useful, or a petty distraction that's getting me off course? Is this a blind spot that's going to trip me up, or a hidden potential that I'm about to miss? Is this real or perception? Is this me or someone else? Really get your filter questions cooking at whatever works for you, and make sure that you are seeing what is real before you and tapping into that which is real for you. Because that's another thing. When you are engaged with your spirit team, a lot of magic happens that other people don't understand, and they ain't got to. As long as you trust what spirit is giving you in that moment and you stand on it. Like I've told my husband, as much as I love him and we've been together over 35 years, I will not violate that part of me. If spirit says move, we move it. That's all there is to it. Get in where you fit in. But I'm not going to violate that part of me. So that's when you really have that that deep connection with your spirit team. And right now, with those planets there in such rare periods, right? 20, 30, 50 years, you know, like all these big cycles converging in Pisces means there's a huge vibration of ending energy going on, that we are developing in that womb, whatever we're going to birth next. And the Aries energy that's in here is, of course, the sun today. Well, yesterday. Venus is retrograde and back in Aries. Mercury's retrograde and back in Aries. And Chiron is there in Aries. So Chiron represents your healing, education, and soul work. And all of that has been in Aries for a couple of years now. So we've been getting a huge taste of what it is to do it yourself. But you don't have to do it alone is my big thing. Yes, you have to do your education and soul work. No one can learn for you. No one can do your soul work. No one can do your healing work. You have to do that, but you don't have to do it alone. That's why we have community. So we're resetting our values and our thinking and our healing process so that it serves you, the individual. That's the wave that we're riding right now. Pisces into Aries is developing that vision and then acting on it when you feel secure and like the boundaries are good and you're clear about what you're doing, which is why I said we might not be very clear until May, June. Now, that's all in the second house of the values and creature comforts and personal security. So Tonya, you want to speak on some of that?
Yes, beloved. Oh, you said so much. And one of the biggest other things we do have coming up, but you were talking about the cycles and seasons, and we've got this shift coming on the 30th with Neptune in Aries as well, which hasn't happened since, write this down, y'all, write this down. This has not happened, Neptune in Aries, 1875. Since 1875. This is our great-great-great-grandparents. And now we're coming back into this. So these cycles and seasons that we're experiencing that Kelly has been talking about, these are big. Like all the stuff that's happening on outside is big, but this is big too. And that's why when we are doing this work, that stuff doesn't get to us. Like Kelly is saying, when you got your things, and I know you can't see all my things, when you're working with your spirit team, like my sister said, you're unstoppable because again, they're not counting on that. Just like wearing the white, you know, and even like wearing the purple, like wearing the white. Imagine if all of us around the diaspora wear white for a week. Imagine what are they doing? What are they doing around the world? Imagine, and look, right here, you can see my world map. Imagine all around the world, we show up in our whites. Imagine the freak out that what is going on? The Blacks are all together, the Puerto Ricans, the Mexicans, we all together, they all wear
having secret meetings.
They're having secret meetings, right? And we should. So wear your white, not only for solidarity, but to keep yourself spiritually clean. Now, I love wearing purple. My purple is on my lipstick. I even wear my white undies. I'm going to tell you straight, because this work that we're doing now, sisters, this is what we came here for. And it does not matter how old you are. Those of us who are wise women now in our 50s, you know, menopausal, we are in our wild and wise stages. This is our time, sisters. And so the younger ones who are here, thank you for showing up at this time because you are about to do something big. But two things I want to, before I get into the astro, and this is so important. And sister, I need you to make sure you tell everybody in your family, do not hit the pavement. No pavements, hit the pocketbooks. Because remember, they're out there wrangling people up. They sending people all over the place. And we don't want none of our people being accidentally, we don't know where they at. So no pavement, we hitting these pocketbooks. We've seen it happen in Target. So let all the other pocketbooks, H&M, all that, pay attention because they are watching us. This is what the algorithms really are about. This is how they know us so well. And so the other thing is your spiritual protection is everything. So if you don't do anything, pray. If you don't do anything, light a candle. If you don't do anything, put a petition a day. Thank you for being alive. If you don't do anything, say thank you. But if you are here, then you're here for a reason and you know that. And so consider yourself an undercover activist, okay? We are all undercover activists. That's what this time is for. These big, huge cycles and seasons are here. If you think about, if you put it in the Google, what was happening in 1875?
I put that in my article, y'all, and I'll link it in the post called Goodies for Neptune and Aries, but it was double-edged. It was the KKK was born and the Salvation Army, where everyone could have dignity and things provided. And so we're back to this where, again, we have to do it ourselves, but we don't have to do it alone.
And so thank you for that too. And like I said, wearing the white, again, they won't know what to do with that because it shows solidarity and they're not looking forward to us having solidarity. They've been doing everything to separate us. So as I said at the very beginning, stay in community as well. Community is your unity and it is your immunity. So I'm not saying you need to go to church, but whatever these kind of gatherings, be with sisters. We know when we walk into a room, if there is 30 of us, so there's 30 of us right now. If 30 of us walked into a room together all right now, wearing white, would we make a scene? Would everybody, oh, who are they? That's how we showing up. That's how we are showing up in every space and place we go. And so that is what our sisterhood is about. So this is a time for us to use our magic, use it all. Use it all. Use it all. Go back to your grandmother's medicine. Go back to your great-grandmother's medicine. We need to go back to the times that kept them alive to keep us alive right now. Because again, what was old is new. And that's the things that are healing us. So plant whatever you can to eat organic. Please be mindful of what you're eating, beloveds. Be mindful of the food. Learn to eat less. Teach this to everybody around you because this is spiritual warfare, sisters. And guess who's on the front line? Us. And our beloved sister, Octavia Butler, in her beloved book, Parable of the Sower, let us know. So if you're not reading that book, I'm going to invite you to my book club, and I'm doing it just because everybody needs to read it. I'm making sure everybody's reading it. So as a former librarian, I'm taking off my librarian hat, and it's required reading for us right now. So if you're interested, I know Kelly has my links. Please join me. If you have the book, get it from the library, buy it used, but get the book. Our Cancer sister. Now, I didn't know Octavia actually was a Cancer. She's actually a double Cancer, her sun and her rising. And she wrote Parable of the Sower. And I don't want to tell you much about it, but please read it. Okay, so as we get into these other cycles and seasons, what we're here for, this equinox, this new year, what seeds are we planting? Remember, I took us on a journey to our goddess, dark mother, our true Black Madonna, our cosmic space mama. She is giving each of us something in our dreams now. She is giving us something each in our inspirations now. So these next few days, she's going to be really amping us up. So pay attention to all the signs and symbols. If you think it's a sign, it's a sign. If you see 444, it's a sign. If you see a feather, it's a sign. Ask your ancestors. Let it be known. Let it be easy. So I understand. Again, all hands on deck, all energies on point. This is not a time for mistakes. This is a time that our intuition is at its clearest, as well as because we're about to shift. Not only is the Venus retrograde changing, the Sun and Mercury is changing in the next few days. Really, March has been one of the most active astrological months of the last.
Oh my God, I can't breathe, y'all.
I'm telling you, it's intense.
Stop.
And guess what? So if you don't know anything about Lilith, which is one of my other specialties, is Lilith. She is shifting from Libra, where she's been with me. I've been in my Lilith return, and it ends on the 27th. So find out where your Lilith is so you can know if you are about to come into a Lilith return. With this shift, Lilith is the energy of the repressed woman. So if you're feeling this fiery energy, something's about to change. I want to cut my hair. I want to move across the country. I want to burn something. I want to break something. Thank Lilith. She's hitting you. And she's doing this to prepare you for rebirth. Remember, these are big cycles. And when I say rebirth, I mean it. I'm talking on the floor, crying in a ball. Lilith is it's a real Phoenix experience. So give yourself some space and grace. And trust to know that even though it feels hard, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. And Lilith is there. She's going to, like Oya, she's going to wreck some stuff, but then she's going to make it all much better. And so with this Lilith energy coming up, and it'll be from March 27th until December 20th. So again, check and see where you have your Lilith. But she's bringing power, she's bringing passion, and she is a feminine. Scorpio is a feminine fire. So we're going to be fiery, y'all. We're going to be fiery. And if you have Lilith and Scorpio, you're going to be hot. She is here to remind us of our power. No man has ever been able, wouldn't have.
Okay, honey, your connection's getting a little spotty. Of course, when we amp the power, y'all, when we raise the frequency, technology starts to go. That's all I know.
And you back, sister? Come on, we've been waiting for you.
Ooh, honey. I don't know how much energy I want to go into because I'm sure you just covered it all, but I'm going to hit my highlights and try to be quick about it, y'all. But I love Tonya has guested in my classes. I love all her classes. I hope you all will stay with us and circle back when it works because this is our fun night. This is our community night. You see it's starting to blaze. The sun is going down around here. I just wanted to point out we are in eclipse season. That's one big thing to honor Luna. We just had the full lunar eclipse. We're about to have a full solar eclipse. Eclipses bring change and what I call a break to realign. So we can interrupt our patterns and reset new patterns. Another way that I put that is letting go of unconscious habits to replace them with conscious practices. There's a difference between how we want to move through going forward. And it's important that we pay attention. The moon rules our day-to-day rhythms. And that's another thing I should say up front. Like some of you know Yeye Luisa Tish that I work with as well. And I always say she's a world server, whereas all of my tools and things that I've created for you all is to help the individual get it together. I think if the individuals get it together, the globe will be okay. But I understand we need those world servers and I love supporting them as they do their work in the world. But the lunar cycle and these eclipses were on the cusp of Aries, Libra, and Pisces, Virgo. So we are breaking patterns and setting new patterns in place that are coming out of this reset that we've done around our identity and purpose. And then also because you've changed who you deal with and how you deal with the people that you're still in touch with is shifting as well. And those eclipses are shaking things up around who you are and what you want and the balanced conscious equal partnership that we would like to have with others that we're working with. So that reset has been going on for about 1.5 years. And where you've been changing, now it slides into Virgo Pisces. And because you've changed who you are and what you want, now you can address your systems and actually how much you can handle. Because we might have really big dreams. I got big dreams, y'all, but I know I'm going to have to dial it back to just even get half of it done. So let's work with the moon. The other thing I say about astrology, because it's infinite and there's so much to it and we all need our kind of way in, and that is that working with the moon will help you get a rhythm and help you honor these cycles. Like I don't have the years in front of me, but I know the Pisces one is a full cycle from 06 to 08 to now. So that 20 years, we've been walking a certain path that is completed and ready to renew and start fresh and clean in a new direction. And so I know where I was going. When you're learning astrology, because it's another language, I try to teach people to tap into the moon, look at the elements rather than the signs if that seems like a new language, because we're all wired for the elements. And so you can start paying attention. So we're coming out of this fire and air, which is still happening. We're not done with it yet, and going into earth and water. Fire and air is more spirit and your consciousness and your connection to your higher self and the inspiration and the fire of purification and transformation. All of that is wonderful. But earth and water are more body and soul. There's more embodiment with the water and the earth, and it's more feminine, whereas the fire and air is typically more masculine and active and activating, right? So we want to pay attention to those rhythms. The moon, now Mercury is going retrograde. Let me see. I think I do have some dates on this one. So again, on this Pisces Aries cusp. Now, what's happening is Mercury and Venus, because they're slowing down, they're kind of syncing up. So we have to think about the evolution of our ideas, thoughts, and concepts, the things that we've wanted to create or express or be a part of lately, and then the values and priorities of that. Right now, while Venus is backwards, you should be reviewing and renewing your commitments and reviewing who, what, when, where, and how you obligate yourself to others, and is it still worth it? And then look at the last 2 to 8 years of how you've done your relationships and your resources, really going down into how your relationship patterns unfold as well as your financial patterns, and looking at where you can upgrade or reset in some kind of way. So the thinking and the values are connected at this time, and they're in lockstep moving forward. Now, the thing is, in the end, they're not going to hit Taurus until May, June. So that's why I said we might not be able to see any of the fruits of our labor until then either, because we're still rearranging things, we're still rethinking, we're still going down into those processes of review around how you've spent your resources of time, energy, and money, and how you've done your commitments. And then, like I said, Mars is done, it's coming back. And usually my update includes, for this one, I'm gonna do my best to piece it together, y'all. But normally I do this 6-week overview. So what we're looking at here is from March 20th to May 4th of the energies and things that are happening. And Mars, as of right now, it's still in Cancer. As of April 17th, it'll re-enter Leo, and it doesn't hit Virgo till June 17th. So again, that reset around who you are and what you want with your self-love and self-care is critical. We're not going to be able to manifest our dreams or create the life that we want despite social collective madness if we're all imbalanced and not taking care of ourselves, or we're too other directed and focused on what other people are doing and all that. So Mars is reorganizing things there. So what feels right? What looks right? What is right for you, the individual? Because Mars is very personal. It rules Aries, you, the individual, right? So we've got that going on. And then I did put a little note to the side here, because this season, let's say spring equinox to the May gate of power is the first week of May, we are looking at the Aries, Libra, and the Taurus, Scorpio lunation. So once we get into April, May, before we get together again like this, we're going to have that Taurus, Scorpio lunation, which is also going to take us deep into our values and what's important and what actually works and what's going to protect you and allow you to live comfortably and safely and beautifully, because Taurus always brings in the beauty. We're going to be beautifying things. But the thing is, come the next cycle, it'll be processing time. And as you get to process in May, those choices and decisions will unfold at summer solstice in an organic way that is just completely natural. So again, just paying attention to the upgrade that you're getting to your consciousness through Mercury, to your values through Venus, and the one you just came through, it's still kind of in its what we call post-shadow process with Mars. And they're all personal. Those are personal planets. Those have to do with you and what's important to you and how you function. Now, Juno is another one of our sacred feminine who's retrograde, moving back and forth through Sag and Scorpio. So Juno rules how we do our deepest commitments and intimacy in particular. So we are circling back. And did you say Lilith is in Scorpio right now? I don't follow her as closely. I only go looking for her when she rears her head.
No, she's shifting into Scorpio on the 27th. Yeah.
So things are already on deck, y'all, about
Yeah.
how you do your intimate connections and how to improve that and make that healthier for you and your partners. And it's also rewiring what you believe to be true or possible for intimacy for you. So think about that. Ask your spirit team for guidance and how you should proceed in your intimate partnerships. Vesta's what is sacred to you, the individual, also retrograding in Scorpio. So we got another feminine entity in Scorpio. So this all tells me soul level work, y'all. This is soul level work. And you can't always be with other people for that, even though we might want to. But Vesta is you, the sacred individual. So your sacred soul self is what's getting a reset. And these ladies only come around every 4 to 5 years. So that's a big deal for anyone with Scorpio energy kicking as well. And then, like I said, Pallas is your unique genius and your healing capacity. And that's in Aquarius right now, asking us to rethink our unique contribution and how to be more authentic in our exchanges and how to honor our sovereignty. Because the big part of Aquarius is to be the individual within the context of your community. So we don't want to lose ourselves in our partnerships or our communities. We want to stand strong and sovereign and clear about who we are and what we want, which is changing, which is the other reason why you need to school your people as it comes up, because it's going to come up. And the language I use is, yeah, I used to think that way. I used to do that. I used to care about that. I used to love that, but I don't do that anymore. I'm not interested in that anymore. And you grow and evolve and change with your desire nature. And that's getting a huge upgrade right now. And then Sirius, we touched on a little earlier because it's in Pisces with everything else, how you nurture and like to be nurtured. So Pisces means that imagination and that artistic side of you and that creative side and the going with the flow, knowing you're a child of God side of you, that you learn how to take care of your spirit and your human form, right? This is the spirit and human form is the whole Virgo Pisces axis to me. And so that's another shamanic astrology principle, is that I don't teach that there's 12 signs. There's actually actually 6 sets of 2. It's Aries, Libra are related. That's you, the individual, within the context of your relationships and partnerships. Taurus, Scorpio is related. Those are the resources and your personal values, and Scorpio ends up ruling how we share resources and intimacy with others. Gemini, Sag is your thinking versus your consciousness or your higher mind, right? And the story that we tell with our choices that we make. Cancer, Capricorn rules a lot of home and work and family and karmic things that we have to work through, but also tell us how to feed and care for ourselves and protect ourselves with the Capricorn side, right? Leo, Aquarius is you, the individual, within that Aquarius community of global community. And Virgo, Pisces, like I said, is the spirit in human form. So we look at them as related. So if you have strong energies on one side and you feel overwhelmed or extreme in whatever way, because I got a bunch of Aries and a bunch of Virgo, so I can be very extreme. I need all this Pisces right now to balance me out. So when those elements and when those entities are in other elements that can help you, you want to pay attention again to those elements. I have a lot of water, so it's already adding to my Scorpio and my Cancer water. And then with the water energies, we always say, I see them as related to the ancestors for sure, but Cancer feels it for the family. Scorpio feels it for the individual, and Pisces feels it for the world, which is why we get overwhelmed in our Pisces zone, because we're feeling it all. We're feeling it all. And that's why the boundaries become so critical. So I think this is divine order going through Pisces before Aries, because we get to calibrate our boundaries and get our systems in order before we try to act, before we try to fire it up and get other people engaged and all that. And she beat me to it. I was getting to 3:30 with Neptune and Aries, but I will link my little post that goes into the spiritual warrior, that all these babies that are going to be born 25 to 39, the next 14 years, they're coming in with that spiritual warrior archetype woven in, like already woven in. And so they're going to teach us, we're going to have to learn, but there's others of us that, like Tonya said, we can reach back to that cycle that's renewing from the 1800s. We can call our ancestors who were able to survive a lot of this crazy. It's just same doo-doo, different day, y'all. It's nothing new under the sun. And certainly in America, they ain't got no new playbook. So they doing the same over and over and over. It's really ridiculous. So Neptune and Aries is going to give us a chance, but that's another indication that we have to be mindful of our personal boundaries and not get overwhelmed by what's going on around us and not carried away in that sea or that wave of whatever's most popular in that moment or what have you, right? And it's a slow, gradual thing, y'all. Pace yourselves. But think of it as Neptune slow walking through your Aries house, dissolving the old you, dissolving what you used to want and what you used to be passionate about, and awakening new desires and new imaginative stories that you could tell if you could get present and feel good about what you're doing. So it's not a bad thing, but it's a collective planet. So it's moving a huge group of us along. You just have to be mindful of your fire side, because it is activating Aries, which is going to naturally activate any Leo and Sag as well. And you want to look at Neptune as your connection to God and spirit and all that is. You want to look at it as your ability to navigate. We are multidimensional creatures, y'all. We are able to jump timelines. We are able to move through different dimensions in different ways and get information to come back here and make better decisions. It is totally possible, but you have to practice. I always say intuition is like a muscle. You got to work it like you go work out. And the stronger you do, you'll be right more than you're wrong. But when you're wrong, you want to look around and say, where were my priorities off? Where was I not focused? What was I not looking at? Because what happens in our processing zones with Pisces, Virgo, and Gemini, Sag especially, we can see the potential of what's possible. But I always say potential don't pay no bills, y'all. So potential doesn't work if it's not activated and nourished and nurtured and protected and brought to life. Otherwise, every child of God has potential, but we need it nurtured and activated. So we want to pay attention to those potentials. So usually that's what I call the energetic support, is like the things happening with the planets. But now I have special alignments I want us to kind of meditate on because of these retrogrades, Venus and Mercury in particular, everything I just said. Now we're looking at how they interact with others. And because they're doing the Pisces cusp as well, there's this initiatory energy happening. But because of the back and forth, we're like, ooh, want to initiate? Ooh, but we got to tie up these loose ends. And then we can initiate clean, right? So there's a little back and forth with, is that the right idea? Does that feel right? Did you confirm with your spirit team? What is your process, right? Think about what your actual process is when you're coming up with your answers and guidance and things that are going to lead your decision making. So 3 times over, Mercury gets with Neptune, which means we can definitely add some imagination and some of our spirit team's advice into the ideas that we want to cultivate for 2025. And again, think about ending new beginnings and be asking that at every step throughout the year. Is this an ending for me or is this a beginning for me? And then, like I said at the top of this, when we talked about the rhythm of the cycle, is this a processing time or a choices and decision time or an anchor or a release time? What time is it? We don't care about clocks and calendars. We care about the season and the moon and the sun. And then we know what time it is and where the energy supports what we're trying to do. So that's why we even pay any attention to any of this. I got a lot of people that are like, Kelly, I don't care what planet it is. Just tell me what to do. So these details don't really matter as much as the energy and how you feel it and how you process, how you take it in and put it out. So watching that input output is a big recalibration that's been happening this year too. So Mercury and Neptune means expand the vision, go deeper, activate other levels of your wisdom, of your knowing, of your creativity, of your power, right? And then Venus hitting Saturn and Neptune and North Node for that matter is shifting the values around your life path and direction, around your reality and purpose, which also brings in your roles and responsibilities. How are all those things getting a huge upgrade and initiation, and possibly to the tune of 30 years? Saturn is a bigger cycle. We say it's a 28-year cycle that moves in 7-year increments. So we pay attention to the 7-year mark in our reality, in our physical body. We can track in our physical reality, how we live in. We can track every 7 years. There should be a little bit of an upgrade and an improvement there. This is huge because now it's Saturn at the end of the zodiac at Pisces, getting ready to join Neptune in Aries and kick off a whole new reality and a whole new dream for, if we look at it, Aries, you, the individual, or for individuals that can be clear about who we are and what we want. Now, if you're not clear and you're easily persuaded into this, that, or the other, you're going to get dragged along with this, because that's a lot of the Neptune and Aries too. We have to be able to stand in what we say, stand in the truth of your own journey, not be dragged into someone else's storyline, right? You'll be creating your own story. So think about that and how that's happening 3 times over in Pisces, where we're dreaming up the new relationships, the new way of exchanging resources and goods and services. There's other ways to do this, but we're going to have to do it ourselves because it doesn't feed into their system and they're not going to like that. But they also makes us invisible to them. I love it. So my ongoing line is, may we be invisible to the authorities unless or until we need them. We don't need them. And if you handling business Aries style, like handling your business, then nobody has to come in and run your life. But that Saturn in Aries is going to make us all question, and you're going to see your people, you're going to see people you love giving away their power to the authorities, the supposed authorities, which aren't authorities in our book, but they are going to give in because they don't know who they are, what they want, and they're not clear. So that clarity is so vital that we use our spirit team and we tap in and we do our exchanges, make our offerings. There's wait till we get to the divinations, y'all. I did the I Ching and it's the book of change, right? So we're getting ready to change and the divinations are pretty juicy. So that's Venus and Mercury in the Pisces side. But as they both slip into Aries, 3 times over, Mercury and Venus in Aries are going to link up with Pluto. So we also know that means permanent change. We are going to the soul. We're pulling shit out by the root. Playtime is over. It's time to know who you are and what you're doing and know your people. Like we've been saying all night, community is so critical, because otherwise, if you're in a vacuum by yourself, your monkey mind can take you down rabbit holes that are totally unproductive and they waste your time and energy and resources. And we don't want to do that. So let's work with these energies, knowing that we are resetting on a soul level, our identity and purpose at the root of it, and everything else that goes with it, like how you handle your business and how you exchange energies with other people. All that's getting an upgrade. Now, what I gotta say is we're talking on 321. There's a huge alignment on 4-4 where Mars, Saturn, and Uranus, the liberator, the change agent, are getting together in opportunity and blessings without effort and really amazing ways that are so juicy. So 4-4 is already a powerful day in numbers and everything else, and history and lots of things on the 4-4. But it's also our Aries time. So I suggest that day as like a prayer day where you do light a candle, put a glass of water, write out your petition around who you are and what you want, the reality and purpose that you want to live in and live through, and use Uranus to change what you can change and choose change rather than having change imposed on you. We have an opportunity opportunity to change by choice, y'all. And that's rare because a lot of times we get forced to change when we don't want to. And like I said earlier, I have all that Virgo. So I lay out a routine. The routine works great. And I've learned over the years, and this is why I got into a lot of this, is that it works until it doesn't. And then you hit a wall one day where that same rhythm that served you so well for the last year or two is not serving you anymore. When you sync up with the sun and the moon and the seasons, you have permission to change. You're changing on time. There's no lax. There's no lag time. There's no staying over long, which we all know we do in relationships or jobs or whatever. We stay over long when we should have moved. So when you learn your rhythm, and that's combining the sky rhythm with your rhythm to dance, then you get that dance down and you can be productive no matter what social collective is doing. That's real. So 4/4 is a great prayer day. And then that's opportunities to change. Beyond that, Mars in Cancer is going to link up with Saturn in Pisces. This is, again, some ease and grace. Trines are ease and grace. Water to water, the elements that work well together. And then it's going to go back to Leo and link up with Neptune and Aries at 0 point. So 0 point is a powerful point in the zodiac. For us to have that individual resetting with the collective at the same time gives us an opportunity to define our terms for personal, social, and collective. Like, what do you want for you? What do you want for you and your community? And what do you want for the world? And redream that on any level. And the other thing I truly believe, because we do all this ancestor work, is anything that you are able to address, to heal, to work through and get to the other side, even if it's not perfect, you're still better. You have broken the cycle or the pattern with your DNA karmic family business, right? So anything that you can heal is unlocking the last 7 generations and the next 7 generations. So you ain't even got to think about nobody else. Just do you. And that's what Aries reminds us to do as well. Make it your dream. And the big thing that's coming up with that, especially with that Neptune and Aries, is we're going to have to be super proactive on our own behalf. It ain't going to be given. It's not going to be easy. If you want it, you're going to have to make it happen. That's where we're going for the next 15 years. And it's hard and it's not fun for some people who aren't naturally aggressive. Like I said, I got 4 planets in Aries, so we about to have a party. So bringing back your power and your strength to choose, to make your choices, to do what is right for you is where we're headed as well. And then the big one, April 26th, Mars in the sky is going to be opposite Pluto in the sky, Leo Aquarius. This is you, your authentic self, feeling comfortable in your own skin, shining your light, sharing your essence, and transforming the community by just being you. Again, that pulls it all in together on micro and macro levels. But an opposition is a push-pull, and it's moving between extremes. So we want to catch ourselves if we too much on ourselves and not paying attention to what the social's doing, because that can trip you up, and vice versa. If you're too involved with what the social's doing to the neglect of yourself, that's going to cause some problems too. And then Saturn hits Aries May 24th, but we're going to get together around May 4th. So we'll talk before that happens, but I just got to give you a heads up. Saturn's moving into Aries, first time in 30 years, and Jupiter's moving into Cancer, first time in 12 years. And so all the Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, Libra energies are going to get expanded by Jupiter moving through Cancer. But the biggest thing we'll get is that reset internally where our consciousness and our needs meet up, right? Where we've raised our consciousness to a new level and now we need our physical reality to match that. And to learn about caring for yourself and doing for yourself and doing what you need to do to make sure you're right. So we've got some things coming up later in May and early June. And now, unless Tonya wants to talk about astrology a little more, I'll move to the divinations.
Yes, I'll keep it brief, ladies. No,
Love
I
it.
want to give everybody time to have their evening and get themselves prepared as well. But first of all, just let me just acknowledge each of you and all of you for being here, because this truly is you saying yes to yourself in a bigger way, because astrology was something that we have really has been stripped of us. Many of us as Black women, we might have read our horoscopes, but we haven't understood it to this degree that we're all now like in this new super course of astrology, because we understand that it means something and that our ancestors are actually speaking to us. So I just want to say thank you for being here and learning this, because this is real knowledge. This is you knowing you. And they say that knowledge is power. So when you're knowing yourself, this is empowering. And even though it may sound like I don't understand anything she's talking about, you feel it. That's why you're here. And you have to learn a little bit at a little bit, because astrology, like she said, it is a true science. I learn something new every day. And I have been studying since I was a teen. I'm telling you, the rabbit holes are extensive. But the reason is because it is so powerful. And let me tell you, all paths lead to Africa. When I was giving you that meditation at the beginning, that energy of Newt, when I saw on the ceilings in the temples how they took time to chisel each star, to paint the walls blue like the sky, and to put a woman up there covering us, I knew that our ancestors would never leave us and that this was our true medicine and healing. And so, ladies, this is ancestral work, learning your astrology. And that's why I am so passionate about bringing it to Black women, because this is one of the things, one of the biggest medicines that they have stolen from us. How you know this? The Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar. They follow the lunar calendar. Why don't the rest of us? They get their kosher meals. They can take days off of work based on the lunar calendar, y'all. Do you understand that? The lunar calendar, they have followed the lunar calendar forever. The Jewish have never followed the Gregorian calendar. They follow the lunar calendar. Ain't it about time we follow the lunar calendar? I see you getting excited over there, Jasmine. So this is why I'm excited. So, and I want to share this. The Masterclass series that I have coming up, Signs, Symbols, and Synchronicities, is to support you in decoding astrology and tarot. And if you're into human design as well, because I actually believe that human design is one of the best tools for us as Black and women in general to support us in understanding how to use our energy in the most effective way. And so I'm not trying to sell you anything. Again, I am here to be a teacher because I want to share with you all the things that I have learned and what I have used. And so in saying that, all the cycles and seasons that you may be experiencing on the inside, and it might seem like, what is she saying? Venus and Jupiter and Neptune. You know this, beloved. These planets live in us, right? We have systems in our body, right? That's a solar system. That means we have a solar system in us. Virgo rules the digestion. Aries rules the head. You know what I'm saying? So we know these things in our Dogon and our ancestors, the Dogon, who know about the Sirius B that they still can't find. This is how you know this is our medicine. This is beyond reading your horoscopes, beloved. You are doing serious healing ancestral medicine by learning your astrology. So, please join me if you'd like. I would love to have you and supporting you and decoding and understanding tarot on another level for yourself and just giving you as many tools. Like I'm here to just tools. I want you healed and healthy and standing in your power with your crown, self-sufficient, but self-sovereignty. So sisters, seriously, start looking at the moon. Know when is your moon sign. Know how it is affecting you. When we're telling you these things, this is years of study. This is years of study. And it may sound like, oh my God, I don't understand, but you do. You understand. And you just need to ask your ancestors, remind me, please let me know what these stars are. That's why I invited all the ancestors in to remind us that we do know this. Lastly, Harriet Tubman, our beloved sister, right? She followed the stars, beloveds. She followed the stars. That's all she had. And she made it every single time. Now, if she followed the stars, dogs, men, we know what was following her. And she went back and came back following that moon and stars.
It works when you work it.
I'll be right back.
Okay. We have 2 PDFs that'll be in the classroom after we get done tonight that you all can access the details on. But I do one community reading, which you can order for yourself for only $25. But I do it for the community. And then we do the divinations for spring equinox, which are also for the community. So in the reading during spring, it is always a good time because it's the initiation of the year. These are readings I've made up, y'all. This is a Kelly layout. We have the initiation determination. We want to choose a goal or focus, and we got change. And I brought the cards to make sure I'd remember to show you. The change card is whirling about there. This is where we need to be aware, right? So you're not slipping into old habits or old patterns unconsciously. You definitely want to change something. 2 was to gauge imbalance, too much or too little, what to do. And we got the courage card, which is number 8 in the major arcana. Let me see. Change was number 10 of the majors. And this is the Osho Zen deck. So that's what is broken down in the PDF. And then commit, accept, and then go for it. I was tripping. We ain't got the Fool in a long time, but it is definitely a new beginning of some sort. And you get to claim what that is and to acknowledge the Fool part, right? Like that you're in new territory. You don't know everything you need to know right now. You're making instinctive choices and you're being guided from within. And then number 4 is about honoring your nature, your masculine, feminine nature. And we got intensity. So depending on your natural balance, I would say, look at this, because if you're naturally too feminine and you need to bring in some masculine to balance it out, or vice versa, where you're too active and you need to be more receptive, then work on those balances as well. Then number 5 is navigating multi-dimensions. What's going to ease our transitions? And we got the possibilities card, which is what? 2 of fire. And you see the eagle flying above, looking at all the possibilities. So when we're looking at that and navigating between dimensions, again, rather than jumping to conclusion of what we're doing or what we're seeing, we want to explore first before you make any choices or commitments. Explore the realm, explore this new territory that you're in. And then practice and perfect a rhythm is about integration, and we got understanding. So I love this one because it shows that the cage is open. This card, and when it breaks down in the text, it's all about knowing that you're not trapped, right? So no matter what the world is doing, you still have a way to fly free. It just might not look like what it used to look like. And then number 7 is be natural, anchor, and own it. And we got new vision, which is 12 in the major arcana. New vision. But that's what we're doing. You want to own that it's a new vision. That's why I said you might have to reintroduce yourself to some people. Like, that used to be me, but that's not really me anymore. So let's get to know me here and now at this new level, this new age and stage, whatever. And then the outcome, overview, and additional insight, we got integration, which is 14, or temperance in the major arcana. But this is integrating our masculine, feminine, our inner and outer, above and below, getting all those dualities that we live with to integrate and serve us, right? That's what we're going for. And then I always, in my readings, I do above and below. So the above card helps navigate in the world, and below helps you navigate privately. So navigating in the world, I laughed out loud when I pulled this. 4 of water turning in. You see all them ghosts around her head? That's all the voices in your head. That's all the voices around you, what have you. But look how calm and chilling she is. Not falling for none of it, okay? None of it. You have your inner peace that you have control over if you manage your boundaries properly, if these little voices can't get in and get you. And then privately, internally navigating, we are going to have some kind of breakthrough. And she's fiery, number 11. Is it 11? Yeah. In the major. So I don't know if any of these cards lined up with your tarot, but this is what we got as a community reading. But that's different from the divinations, which are our guidance for navigating the next 6 weeks. Tonya, anything on those?
Yes, actually, I was inspired to share a moonology card, since we're always talking about the moon, and that is my jam. I rarely use these cards, but I was really guided to use them. For us, they're, again, beautiful cards. So I'm just going to invite everybody to just take a deep breath, and we're going to do this together collectively in our sisterhood. So just close your eyes, take a deep breath, 3 breaths. You've taken in so much. Bless your head. Thank your head. Thank your mind. Thank your body for showing up, for being present in this present moment. Thank the moon and the sun and the stars for aligning the way they aligned for you to be here, for you to be the cosmic star seed that our cosmic Black mama wanted to be made. Through your parents, through your great-grandparents, all the way down to the person that you are and to the offspring that you may have, either in this life or beyond. There's a star seed message in you, and we all have a moon sign. So let's see what message she has for us. Take a deep breath collectively, sisters. Focus your energy upward and inward to your pineal gland. Take 2 deep breaths. Hold it up. On the third one, let your eyes come back down naturally. Place your left hand on your heart. And let's see what card we get. Take a deep breath, open your eyes, and here is the card we get. So it's backwards, so let me see what it says. Couldn't be even better. Assess the situation, first quarter moon and Virgo. And if we look up right now outside, it's going to look like this. This Virgo energy, assess the situation. This is exactly what Kelly was talking about, us being discerning, having our boundaries. We're going to want to go in. So consider it I call mine my crystal cave. So you might want to call yours, your herb cave, whatever it is, but you're going to want to go in. So assess the situation. All situations, do not react. Respond, sisters. Virgo is the energy of wellness, support, the details. So this is what it means to assess. Like before you get upset and react the way you used to act, take a look around. Is this worth my time, energy, and attention? If it's not, I'm out. As Kelly was saying, we have to be discerning. And Virgo is the virgin. She's also, as we mentioned, also like the temperance card in tarot, so we can be in this world, but not of it. This a perfect example, in the world, but not of the world. That's what it means when we're wearing the white and doing our spiritual practice. They can't mess with us. Do you know what I'm saying? So that feels so powerful, right? And all of us, again, having that collective energy, focusing on our crown energy, staying in our self-sovereignty and working with the elements. So call in your divine feminine healer woman.
Well, what I'm also hearing from that too is do your processing. Like I said, if you don't review your life quarterly or annually or check in with your spirit team on a regular basis, you're going to feel lost and unsupported. And so that is critical. And then Virgo's your day-to-day rhythms, again, with the systems that make your life function, right? So I always tell them Virgo gets a bad rap for being picky or critical, but really it's looking for the patterns and looking for the wholeness and the integration from being so fragmented and all over the place. And so we want to draw those aspects of ourselves back into wholeness. It's not about being perfect. It's about being whole.
It is that wholeness. And look at your wholeness. Again, what I do with my clients is, and they know this, they're working on theirs right now, is a wellness plan. Look at these 7 areas: your emotional life, your spiritual life, your mental, your environmental, your social, who you're around, what are you eating, all of these 7 areas of your life. That is holistic. And then, as I said, the systems we have in our bodies, how are they functioning? Are you paying attention to your circulation system? Are you paying attention to your skin system?
Your respiratory,
circulatory,
everything.
all of this.
They have to work alone and together, y'all. So we're looking at them one by one and then looking at the whole picture.
Because they all have to work together. Like I cannot talk without these other systems in my body saying, oh, she wants to say this, she wants to say this, her eyes are moving, her lips are moving, her arms, all these systems are talking. We can't see it happening, but it's happening. That's how astrology works.
Yes.
You know it, but you don't know how it's working, but it is working on you.
Love it. I love it. And do you work with the I Ching too? You're going to love this.
Oh yeah. And the human design. Design works with
all part of the same design. Yes.
Thank you, sister. I can't wait to hear.
Okay, baby. Okay. So the I Ching is a conduct oracle. You ask how to proceed, what to do, how to do this. Oh, Elder Harriet, come on now. What you got?
You had mentioned 4/4, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, blessings. Make it a prayer day. And 4/4 is when Martin Luther King was killed.
That's right.
68. My birthday is April 6th. So I'm very tuned into, and I remember what happened with me and during that time.
Wow.
And so, when you mention it, it like
brought it to the surface. Yep. I know that's right. It's all connected.
Yeah.
And cycles come, the energies circle back. We get called to the next level of work that we might have been doing at that time, to the next level. So it's going to be big. And we want to call in that liberation from Uranus. That we call it a liberating ordeal because sometimes you have to go through something to get free, but we honor that. And because it's ease and grace and opportunities, I don't think it's going to be as hard. We're ready to change. And Veronica, you have your hand up? Yeah, you can review like the last month of Pisces. would have been processing time. So take some time for the next couple of days and do some processing about your emotions and how you feel about certain things. We need to acknowledge some mourning periods and different losses and things that are leaving us or leaving the world in certain ways. We need to get okay with that. So that's kind of processing emotionally. And then making your choices around Aries, who you are and what you want, is going to lead to Taurus, what you either anchor permanently or release and clear out so that you can live better. On the Taurus side of things, it's your physical day-to-day life as well. How comfortable you are in your own body and how comfortable and beautiful your surroundings are, so that you know where your vibration is. You know what you're comfortable in. All right, y'all. So the I Ching is kind of dense as well. So I go through, and this one is from Stephen Karcher's Total I Ching, Myths for Change. And I asked for guidance on navigating the current ending with the Pisces energy that's going on and the current new beginning that we're about to navigate because it's spring and we're activating new life. And I pulled something for shadow because I always want us to be mindful of where we might trip up as well. And what we got was number 41, diminishing the offering, changing to repeating pit, ghost river. So our keywords for diminishing or the offering says decrease, sacrifice, or loss, concentrate, diminish your involvement. This is where we're disentangling ourselves from tangled stuff, right? Whether it's people, places, or situations. Disentangle yourself from that. Diminish your involvement. Decrease your desire. Aim at a higher goal. See the significant pattern. And we are at a site of creative transformation. The overview says diminishing means loss, sacrifice, or a need for concentration. Decrease your involvements and free yourself from emotional entanglements. This makes energy available for new developments. Be confident and connected to the spirits. They will bring you through. This is also a PDF, so you all will get it. Test your ideas, have a place to go, impose a direction on things. This brings profit and insight. Inquire into the motivations. Ask yourself why you are doing things. So that's a big Aries Mars thing, our desire, our motivation to action and choices. What motivates you? You know, are you one of those pain or pleasure seekers? You know, avoiding pain, pleasure seeking is what we do as humans. We bounce back and forth. Now, what I love about Stephen Karcher's Total I Ching is that he has the scholar and the shaman, which I feel very resonant with. So the scholar speaks. Outer limit brings inner development to expression. So we are being limited outside in the social collective realms in certain ways, but we're developing muscle and strength and intuition and integrity and what we really want. Right now, we don't even have to question that. And so pulling inward to develop what you want to express next is part of that. Go back and start over. Something significant is returning. That's big when we go from Pisces to Aries in the big cycles. Adjust and repair your power to realize the way. So making that connection internally with your own ideas and things, but also making that connection to your spirit team so that you know you can channel the energy accordingly. Diminishing is heavy and arduous at first, but it lets you be versatile and able to change with the time and keep harm at a distance. To change the flow of energy, curb your anger and resentment. Ooh, that was deep because that fire is going to activate and it's going to activate some and trigger others, right? That's where I traded out that word long ago. Diminish what is below and augment what is above. Okay, so we're going to diminish some of our internal turmoil, and augment just means change, shift a little. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but we want to augment and shift our consciousness. That's what's above, body is below. And there's lots of ways to look at this, y'all. So through your own filter, you do your thing. Diminish what is strong and solid and augment what is supple and adaptable. So now we're looking at a different way, and that is the scholar. The shaman speaks and says, spirit speaks and spreads joy through the intermediaries. Its words bind us and accomplish fate. These are the operators, those who work with spirit. And the outer field that diminishes involvement, stimulating inner growth and giving voice to spirit. That's another thing our ancestors really want. They want to see us succeed at this new level, and we can. Free yourself from compulsive, unreflected, or unconscious emotions. Okay, so there's a lot of that undercurrent, especially with Pisces in the ocean. So we need to be aware of anything that is unconsciously motivating us, right, to the actions and choices that aren't healthy or good for us. Make the sacrifice, a cycle is ending. So again, with honoring the endings, doing the mourning process, whatever it is for you. Specific instructions say, and this is all number 41 for diminishing, be discerning about which things need diminishing and which need augmentation. You can ask that question throughout your stuff. It is time to acquire the inner companion. If a connection is harming you, diminish your involvement. Okay, if anything that makes you less than, that weakens your spirit or weakens your soul in any kind of way, we ain't got time for that. That's over. So bring your inner and outer lives together. Draw up a plan and be sure of yourself. You will get considerable help, but this will not be a sedentary affair. So that seemed to double down on what I was saying earlier on how we have to be so proactive on our own behalf right now because the systems are down. Systems are down for maintenance, and we're not going to be able to access them for years to come. An important connection approaches and something significant returns. And so the I Ching is good for that too. We might get a couple of messages over and over. That was diminishing. Now, repeating pit, Ghost River is number 29. And the keywords are collect your forces, confront your fears, take the plunge. Okay, now again, with that Pisces, part of the shadow of Pisces is irrational fears and things that you're feeling that you can't identify, right? Think of that water again. Like I tell people, when you're underwater or you were in the womb, you could hear stuff going on, but it wasn't clear. You don't know exactly where it's coming from and things like that. So let's be mindful and confront these things that might trip us up unconsciously. Practice, repeat, and rehearse. Deep breath. So we don't want to just run out there Aries style and just kick it and let's do it, right? Practice a little, rehearse, feel it out, and find your way that makes sense for you. Rise to the challenge. Danger, the earth pit and the ghost world, an axis of change, prima materia. So we're going back to the primordial creative substance that we can make anything out of that we want. The overview message says, this describes a situation of repeatedly confronting danger and difficulties. You cannot avoid this obstacle. Conquer your fear and faint-heartedness. Practice, train, and accustom yourself to danger. This is a critical point. Now, that's kind of hard, but I want to say this again in that proactive vein. You know, don't just assume that what you want done is going to get done. You're going to have to follow up and follow through, follow behind folks that aren't really doing their jobs and make sure that whatever you're trying to get done gets done. That's the way I look at that, is to practice, train, and accustom yourself to being challenged individually because it's coming. And we need to beef up our muscle to respond, not react, to prepare, not panic, as Yeye would say. Summon your energy, concentrate, and confront the challenge so we're not running away in fear. Hold fast to your heart and its growth. This is pleasing to the spirits. Moving, acting, and motivating things to change will bring you honor. Again, the same old is not going to work. Specific instructions, set limits, find your voice, take things in, be open, and provide what is needed. You will get what you need by being flexible and adaptable. Change whom you associate with and strip away old ideas. That's going to come up repeatedly over the next 6 weeks. Don't be a victim. Pull back and be sure that you know what you want. Think about your values. What is coming in is more than you can handle. Deep breath. That's why we said you got to check in with your systems. We've changed who we are and what we want. We've changed who we deal with in our relationships. But now it's like, what do we start fresh and clean that we can actually maintain and sustain? You know, that's healthy for your system. If you are trapped or cut off, don't fight it. Make an offering to the hidden spirits. Okay, so even if we are feeling challenged by the world, go to your spirit team. Ask what you can do. Make an offering. Move out of isolation. Find supportive friends. Gather energy for a decisive new move. That's coming. But you have to do it yourself, but you don't have to do it alone. And dispel illusions and change now or be trapped. So deep breath, y'all. That is our ending guidance. Now for our new beginning guidance, we got, this was crazy, 31 changing to 32. This is conjoining or uniting in spirit, changing to persevering. So conjoining keywords are excite, stimulate, influence. This is all for the new beginning. Strong attraction. So only do what you're magnetized to, what is natural for you, what is good for you. Bearing together what belongs together. Site of creative transformation. And we are at the Sacred River Mountain Place where sacrifice is offered. So find your place in nature to make your offerings. The overview message says this is an influence that excites, mobilizes, or triggers you into action. It seeks to unite the separated parts of something that belongs together. So again, if we've been fragmented or all over the place or serving two masters or divided within in any kind of way, we're bringing that back to wholeness. Reach out, join things, and allow yourself to be moved. The woman and the yin, over and over and over through all these I Chings, it was all about the feminine and the yin, being responsive and receptive and natural about development, like not rushing development. It's a feminine way. We let things develop in the darkness. Seeds germinate in the darkness. So we have to go within first to allow that development behind closed doors and then come out and shine your light. So the woman and the yin are the keys to the situation. Understanding, accepting, and acting through the woman generates meaning and good fortune by releasing transformative energies. Ashe, it is so true. The scholar speaks, inner strength submits to outer stimulation. Okay, so inner strength responds to outer stimulation. You're gonna build some muscle, y'all. Going forward, you're gonna build some muscle to function. It's just how it is now. Accept what is coming as a sign of something greater on its way. Relations are clarified and individuals have a way to order their hearts. Bring things and people together through the empty yet fertile space within you. Okay, that space of, like I said, the seeds germinate in the darkness, in that void of infinite potential that we can always tap into. The flexible and adaptable is above, the firm and persistent is below. They excite and invoke each other, moving through mutual interaction. So we say that the heart chakra connects above and below, and if the heart is blocked, then you can't communicate with your body or your consciousness. So we want to keep that channel clear and get them in mutual interaction, where you're moving from your higher self's consciousness ideas, but making sure that you're in your body doing what works for you physically. Contemplate the place where things can be influenced and touched. When the sage influences people's hearts, the world is harmonized and balanced. So that inner sage, your inner wise woman, that wisdom keeper, is being activated as well, because this is ancient knowledge that we're remembering, right? We already know it, but now we need it, so we're going to start remembering it. The spirits will give you success, power, profit, and insight if you submit to the yin. So doing things, again, in a feminine way, which also means setting the sacred space, creating space for your creative babies to flourish, and magnetizing, not demanding, not forcing, but magnetizing, just being totally magnetic in your energy field so that what you need is naturally magnetized in and what you don't is naturally repelled out. That's what you do when you play with your own magnetic field. And our magnetic field is connected to Mama Earth's core and the magnetic field that goes around us and protects it all. So we can connect to that to recharge our own battery and get stronger with handling more energy, because that's another thing. Earth's vibratory frequency has doubled over our lifetime. And so we have to lighten up in our bodies so that we can handle these new frequencies. Otherwise, it's going to blow our circuits, because I know I'm an analog girl in a digital world. I'm not built for any of this. And I blow circuits everywhere I go because of my electrical energy. So the shaman speaks, we're still on conjoining. Above stimulates through joyous words that cheer and inspire. Below limits and articulates what is complete to suggest what is beginning. So that's the other thing. Whatever we are ending, we're getting all the education and all the experience and all the wisdom out of the last 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 years, whatever. So know that you're calling that in. Outer stimulation that articulates the inner field, drawing spirit into sacred space. So that's another thing. By setting up your altars and creating space for spirit to come and commune with you is going to be completely supported. Empty your heart, exhibit compassion, and encourage community. Make the sacrifice because a cycle is ending, so a new cycle can be birthed. So again, walking that cusp of ending, new beginning. The specific instructions say revolution and renewal. Change the way you see your life. Don't be afraid to act alone because you are coupled with a creative force, Ashe. Don't get swept off your feet with the current powerful influx of new energies. Again, get acclimated. I call it a re-entry period. If I travel, I give myself a couple of days on both ends to do what I call re-entry and to recalibrate to the time zone and whatever it is, right? So watch these new energies, feel the new energies, see how your system responds, and pay attention and track. If you don't track, you're going to repeat mistakes. So a hasty move will lead to nothing but trouble. Stay where you are. So again, being impulsive and reactive is not going to be good for us. Obsession leads to danger. Hold on to yourself and what supports you. Gather resources for a new project and gather energy for a decisive new move. Express your aims and desires, and your sorrow over the past will simply disappear. Reimagine the situation. The way is open. Assimilate and practice with the new feelings. Have no fear, you will adjust, Ashe. You really will. We are very adaptable creatures and we're regenerative creatures. So anything that has been dying off or sick or falling down and going down, like dissipating and diminishing, like we said, you're going to build something up in its place. The universe abhors a vacuum. It's not going to stay like that forever. So we want to get acclimated to this new level, assimilate and practice with the new feelings, honor the new beginning to release sorrow over the past. So get excited about the new beginning. Don't be upset about what you're losing or what's going away, right? Opportunity for a new beginning and a deep connection that will endure over time. That's Saturn's contribution, y'all. It's going to make it real and we're going to have to live with it for a minimum of 7 years is going to be this new identity and purpose that we're kicking off. Now, 32 is fixing the omen and persevering. The keywords are continue, endure, self-renewing. We got to find ways to do that. Constant, consistent, and durable. A stable married couple. The overview says the focus should be on that which perseveres, continues, and endures. So no fly-by-night, no get-rich-quick schemes. Continue to be constant, regular, and stable and persistent in what you feel is right. Okay, again, with your integrity not being compromised by whatever the world is doing, where you're so on lock with your values and priorities, you can't be easily swayed by what's happening out there. Persevering fixes and steadies the power to realize the way in action. Establish principles that endure and boundaries that are solid and strong. So our principles and our boundaries are getting fortified. Work to ground things and stir them up to new growth. So we're going to plant our seeds and we're going to nurture and tend, and we're going to allow it to come in its own time. Contemplate where you persevere and discover your true purpose. Specific instructions say spirit manifests in those who lay out the offerings and work with spirit directly. I say, so make sure you cultivate your team, your relationship with your spirit team. Inner penetration and outer stimulation that renew each other creates enduring structures. Okay, and that's what we're rebuilding. This is the new foundation we're laying out. Establish firm boundaries on all 4 sides to receive the blessing. Okay, so north, south, east, west. Work on your 4 directions. Put protections around your house, around your room, around your altar, however you want to do it. But know that you need to honor all 4 directions. We usually start in the north or the east. North is associated with earth element, east is air, south is fire, west is water, where we let go and flow back into mama. So we work with the 4 elements, we work with the 4 directions, and right now, this is a message on top of messages coming through Yay Tish about protecting our 4 directions. We really have to do it consciously. The strength is there. Let the situation mature and be resolute. So once you commit, stay committed. If you persevere on what you have established, your cares and sorrows will disappear. Commit. The power and the ability are there for you, but don't be afraid to act alone. And I would add, you are coupled with a creative force. Release bound energy. Realize hidden potential and persevere in your own virtue. Again, managing, maintaining your own integrity as you move through. There are some things we just got to say no to because they're not in alignment with who we are. And it might be nice in another world at another time, but it ain't for right now. So the last one, and this one's short and sweet, it's only one, is number 23, stripping. The keywords are seed figure, strip away old ideas, eliminate what is outmoded or worn out. This is our shadow guidance for what might come up. First burial, stripping the corpse, and site of creative transformation. The message says, strip old habits and ideas that are outmoded, worn out, and have become unusable. Bring renewal, remove and uncover things, strip away the non-essential. Really get clear about what's essential and what's not. This is the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle and new ideas. Reestablish creative balance by stripping away outmoded embellishments. If there is something rotten here, take action and clean it up. Ashe. Stabilize your position, create a base, and reinforce your personal boundaries. This is what's going to happen if we're imbalanced or operating from shadow. Then we might get violated. Stripping away the old implies someone to carry it out. Okay, so this brings up another thing I say, Tonya, let me know if you feel in this, is that because the big boys are doing stuff, I feel like they can do the heavy lifting. So what we do on our little micro individual levels in terms of recalibrating the dream or the vision or the new identity and whatever, Saturn, Neptune, all them big planets can carry it right along for us. It doesn't even have to be hard. For real, for real. I believe that. I've worked that from many different angles. So stripping away the old implies someone to carry it out. So as we change, Uranus makes that easy. You know, if we choose it, if we fight it, it gets hard. If we fight Pluto and transformation and death and rebirth, it gets hard and heavy. But if we don't fight it and we go to the soul and we do our work, it works out better. Okay, those who adapt to what is coming will endure. We do have to adapt, stick and move, you know, do what you got to do to get around it. Concentrate on the symbolic value of things and their power to connect you to the world of spirits, and use your oracles to confirm and validate your messages. So again, don't take things at face value. What your eyes see is not usually what's real or what's really happening for real. That's why we don't want to be numbed out or dumbed down by food and pharmaceuticals where we can't sense what's happening. What'd you say, Ma?
Say that. Say that. That's why I said the wellness plan. We have to eat less. We have to know ourselves as spirits, not just these bodies. And it's so important, ladies, that we really recognize and see ourselves as spirit bodies. Spirit bodies. And so the oracles.
Yes.
Lessons, learning.
Confirm what you're picking up. That's how you learn what your symbol language is, you know?
Exactly. Because we all have our own language.
That's right.
Like you might see a bird and I don't see it, but that means something to you. Your spirits will talk to you, but you have to learn the language. And you can't learn that language if you're busy, or if your nervous system is shot, if you can't listen to yourself. This is why having, again, immunity in community and unity, it's all in there. So thank you, sister.
Yes.
I love these cards. Thank you so much.
We're almost done. I know y'all are hanging in there. I'm so grateful. This is a time when old structures dissolve so new action can emerge. We can't do it on top of the rubble. We got to clear the rubble away and start clean. Strip away the outworn products of the previous cycle. So whatever you've produced in the last 2, 8, 10, 20 years, it's a new day, at the very minimum 20, right? You have to confront basic questions of support, intimacy, and where you feel at home. Like I said, a lot of what we talked about tonight is about being comfortable. And where is that? And can we use the discomfort to get out of certain situations? It is important to take a stand for change or the way will close. Like I said, choose change or have change imposed on you. Differentiate yourself from others. Don't turn into a ghost to be gotten rid of. Okay, what that makes me think of, though, is also the hungry ghost, which happens with Taurus energy sometimes, is because it's past lives of famine and being the sacrificed child and there not being enough food or money or whatever. So we come into this lifetime with a little sticky in our Taurus section, and that's what I call a hungry ghost, because wherever our Taurus is, we are strong, we can manifest, we get determined, and we make things happen, and then you get it, and it's like, ooh, that didn't really satisfy, that didn't really do what I thought it was going to do. So you end up having that hungry ghost where you're hungry for something and no matter what you do, it doesn't get fed. We don't want that. We got to clear that. Don't act out of ignorance. Wait to be sure. Be open and provide what is needed. Use your connections and trust your imagination. Okay, again, you're not alone. We all can reach out. Don't go back to your old ways. It's like painting your house to avoid moving. But seriously, don't go back to your old ways. And that's what I mean about all the new from the retrograde planets and what's going direct and what have you, is that you're being reset. And if you don't have some new practices, like what Tonya's teaching, like what me and Yeye teach, then you can easily slip back into old habits. So we want to try new things and be open. Even if it doesn't work, you can be like, thanks, but no thanks. It didn't really work for me, but maybe it works for you. But feel into what is going to work for you going forward. And I'm so very grateful. So many of you stayed. We had 33 of you stayed. So thank you, thank you, thank you for hanging so late on the East Coast. I apologize for all my technical issues, but Mercury is retrograde and we are in an alternate dimension together. So we made it. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. And like I said, most of you got an email from me with the Zoom code. So you can hit reply and send me your birth date, time, and place. And I will tell you where Aries, Libra, and Cancer, Capricorn are for you. And then join us when and where you can. So thank you, everyone. Any questions or last minute words?
Thank you, sisters, all so much for being here. Again, you can see how passionate we both are about astrology. And so if we're that passionate, you have to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is so important. And it's such a sacred science that has been really stolen from us. You know, it's really been stolen from us. But like I said, the fact that the Jewish use the lunar calendar, that speaks volumes. That
Exactly.
speaks volumes.
Ancient indigenous people use the sky.
Exactly. And absolutely. So if they use the moon to create wealth, there's 33 of us here, especially 33, 33, 33. You see that spirit?
Our power numbers.
That is a power number. And so I behoove you, my sisters. Again, it may seem like gibberish and you may not get it, but your inner muse, your inner sister, however, your inner goddess, she knows because she created your soul star. So just follow her. Get to know your birth chart. Get to know your birth chart. That's how you get to know yourself.
And I do have the Venus Circle. You all can reach out about that too, where we gather around her monthly and you get a workbook and everything. So thank you, everyone. Be well. Reach out directly when you need to and join us next time. Thank you, Tonya, for everything. So grateful for your sisterhood. Thank you for bringing your crew. Thank you for the Patreon crew and all my crew. Thank you, everyone. Cross-pollination is beautiful. All right, y'all. Be well. Go get some rest and replenishment now.